Welcome back to the channel. This is Roberto with Full Curl Precision. For tonight, we're going to be going over a couple of my presses for reloading that have used, and one I mainly use now, and kind of give a little review on it. But right before we get into that, for those who regularly watch and pay attention to my videos, well, help me get to 150 subs. We're going to be doing a giveaway. We're at 145. Only need 5 more to get there. So we're going to give away a hat, a shirt, and an ammo box. So we'll randomly pick. Once we hit that number of subscribers, I'll do a video, and then people can comment, and I'll pick from there. So yeah, please like, subscribe, share, comment, whatever you have to do. I'm trying to grow this channel, and but yeah, for tonight, again, going back into. I'm going to be reviewing my reloading presses and to give you my perspective on what I like, what I don't like, different things like that. So let me turn the camera around. And so for tonight, I have two. I actually have three, but I'm not going to be showing the other one because it's in a similar style to this, but it's a Lee Precision, kind of a lot lighter duty than this one is. This is the Rock Chucker 4. So it's actually a very heavy duty cast iron construction. Very easy to use. So like this piece right here, this insert comes in and out. If I can get it to cooperate. But yeah, you can see that right there. Slide that in. This is where you put your dies. And then there's different types of dies. There's your reloading set, your resizing dies. And then there's what's called collets. You can use this to be able to pull bullets. I like this style. It's very simple. It's used very all-inclusive, really. So you have this slot right here. And what that is for is this right here. So you can do that, and you put your primer right in there, and you can lower it down, and you see how it comes up through there. So if you have a case, you can actually seat your primer in. And let me make sure I get that all the way out. Nope. Hold on. There we go. So what this is built for is to have an all-in-one type setup. It's kind of nice. Now, for myself, because I'm usually doing, quite a number of casings at a time, I decided to opt by this thing. This is a Lee Precision primer tool. And so you got this different, this will swap out so you can do large rifle primer or small rifle primer. And I prefer this over the handhelds. I feel like it's a little faster. It's a little easier to use. That's just my opinion. It's pretty simple. You just kind of do that, and then you can see that plunger push it out. So yeah, it's really simple. This RCBS works really well. Again, I got this used. I got this used as well. This is a Frankfurt Arsenal. And it operates a little differently. So you can see where your mounting holes will be. So you see this plate you see this little cone wedge right there. So you put your case in there, and as you lift, you see that mechanism? It closes on your case and then lifts it up to where your die sits right in that collar. And so that collar comes right out. And yeah, you got a set screw, so you can set it in there every single time. There's a number of companies that go with this style, but it is a little on the loosey-goosey side, so I don't really care for that. For this, you usually have a retention collar, either in a hex shape with a set screw, or like Lee has ones that are finger tightened. They work really well. Yeah. So different styles, simplistic. This is heavy duty. These are very common. These have a great reputation. That's one of the things I asked somebody, and they're like, if you can get yourself into a rock chucker, a RCBS rock chucker, That's the only press you'll need for the rest of your life because they just last that long and they do really well. This is like a single piece. This is a dual guide. It's nice. I don't have it plugged in right now, but you see that right there, that power button. There's a little LED setup right underneath there. You can see, so it helps you to be able to see what you're doing. This is kind of has a nice setup. You can use this on everything. So it's designed to work with just about everything without having to have a bottom piece. This, you have to have all the different inserts. Which I have. I do have those. So, yeah, so there's different pros and cons. Like you have to have the extra pieces with this one as opposed to this one, which you really don't. You can do handgun loads, you can do rifle loads, and it works really well. But I'll say this, if you're looking for something that's going to be durable, easy, very reliable, you're going to have a hard time passing up on something like an RCBS or any other single stage style that's in this platform, because you see that long handle, so it gives you plenty of leverage, and so it's real easy. And when you go to do this, you have the center punch out right here for your resizing die, and it punches out the primer. There's a slot on the back side of this, and it drops the primer straight out. So it makes it really easy. I literally maintain this thing by using just a hair bit of Rem oil on it. It just lubes it up just fine. It works really good. Again, I got this used and it's working great for me. Is it the best press out there? No, not by a long shot. There are fancier ones you can get. But I'm going to tell you this. Between these two, for simplistic and overall comfort, I'm liking this RCBS better than I am liking this one. Now, this isn't bad, but I found if you get some really stubborn primers, it gets to be a little bit of a chore to get it to cooperate. I prefer this. It's a lot more advantageous when it comes to stubborn casings. So, yeah. And then this is another RCBS item I have. I got this used. It's a rotary. It's a vibratory tumbler. So there's a reason why there's these springs. It shakes, but it shakes in such a pattern that the walnut husks, basically, that are in there, they call it walnut media. That's what actually cleans the casings, and it does a really good job. I can't complain. A little loud, yes, but you know what? These are a lot more money than what I spent for it. And again, it does the job that I need it to. And I need to get my other stuff out, but I have, for my brass trimmer, I have a Lyman. For my powder dispenser, I have an RCBS electric one. Yeah, I spent a little bit more money on that. But then again, that's one of those things where I know I'm going to use it enough to justify the cost. Yeah, you can get into things a lot cheaper than what it is. You'll see some of these setups where guys have like these multi-stage, whether it's a Hornady or a Dillon or some other company, and they're some of them are a couple $1,000s, if not more, and people are like, you need to have this, you need to have that, and I'm like, no, you don't. I mean, you're gonna spend a little bit more time on these single stages in terms of volume production, but in my personal opinion, I think that you're gonna have less issues in the long run. I used to do mechanicking, not only on small engines but also diesels. As a general rule of thumb, the more moving parts you have, the more points of failure you have. And so I like something that's going to be simplistic and be able to last a long time. So if you're trying to have something where you're only going to be reloading for 1 or 2 rifles and maybe help a few friends out, whatever else, and you're not going to be spending a ton of time, and you want to get into uh, hand loading, this is the way to go. A good solid single stage. Now Hornady makes some good stuff too, so you don't have to go necessarily with just RCBS. But you're gonna have a hard time passing up on a good quality single stage. You don't need to go crazy, and you don't have to have everything all in one shot. You can just slowly work through it. And dies. I like Lee dies. RCBS makes some really good dies. Hornady makes some really good dies. I personally like the Lee dies better. I just find that they're easier to use. For the money, for the same cost as a typical RCBS set or Hornady set, you can buy the Lee Ultimate sets. And honestly, I think they're built nicer. I think that instead of using like cast type material, they're using more forged materials. Yes, they're still a little bit on the soft side, but I feel like they come out a lot nicer, cleaner, easier to use. Um, that's what I'm using for my 270s, and I'm getting pretty good consistency out of it, and I'm happy. So if you're trying to get into it, remember, don't try to bite off more than you can chew. Just start small. Even if it's just, hey, for now, I got this press, and then I got this piece, and I got that piece, and I do this. And you know what? It's nice to have a tumbler, but the thing is, you don't need a tumbler. There are ways to clean brass without having to have a tumbler. Before I got the tumbler, I even just did hand washing with there's some videos where guys use like Dawn and like raw coarse salt, and they went through and they washed and they just shook the casings around a little bit, kind of like knock off the debris. And then there was one where they did like it's like vinegar and Dawn and that, and then you kind of let it sit for like 10-15 minutes or something like that, enough to kind of dissolve a little bit. Yeah, there's like little things you can do like that to help to clean them without having to go through the tumbling process. So yeah, you don't have to have a tumbler. So um, again, you can start small and just kind of slowly work your way up. I'm like I said, with what I'm using, what I spent on my dies, my 270 dies. I think I spent like 45 or $50, something like that. Like not an insane amount. So and I'm consistently getting between this press, those dies, and I recommend especially get good calipers, get good quality calipers. That's the one you don't really want to cheap out on. When I say don't cheap out, I don't mean you have to go and spend like a couple $100. Starrett makes some ultra nice calipers, but you don't need them. You can go online, and I went on Amazon and I found a good set for like 40-45 bucks, something like that. So, you can find some decent good ones that are solid weight and built well, and they've served me really well. I cannot complain at all. They've done me well. And what I'm looking to do is just be able to build enough to accomplish what I'm doing. I'm not some long range target shooter where I have to have groups that are in the same hole at 100 yards. I'm looking to have a good hunting build. And that's what I'm really after. And here's the thing, even if you are a target shooter, in terms of like you're not shooting past, let's say you're a target shooter, but you're not shooting past, let's say, 1,000 yards. The group sizes that I'm getting will do the trick. And that's kind of the fun part about it. And so it kind of goes into the idea of being practical, being reasonable, and not trying to bite off more than you can chew. You want to be able to afford to live while doing this too. So yeah, if you have the room and you have the circumstances and you have the desire to get better groups and better quality ammunition, then yeah, it's worth getting into. If you're somebody who's found some good factory ammo and it's working good for you, great. You don't have to, but for those that do want to, have been considering it, that's my review. I would highly recommend something that's going to be more in this style. I recommend more of a style like this of a single stage as opposed to a style like this. Both have their pros and cons. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this is bad, but I think that this is a much more solid build. So I would recommend something like this. And yeah, so that's all I have for tonight. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. Again, I'm trying to hit 150 subs, and we're doing that giveaway. So yeah, I appreciate all the support, and we'll talk to you again.